Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I just took a huge sip of my decaf coffee right before we jumped on. So super excited to start this week with all of you.
Hopefully the decaf gets you energized.
It does. It has like a teeny percentage of caffeine in it. So I'm, it's mind over matter. If I think it gives me energy, it gives me energy, right?
There you go. That's it. You make your own energy. All right.
That's
so thanks everyone for joining us. It's the second to last kickoff, Amy?
It is the second to last kickoff. It is Monday, December 14th. We are well underway into the last month of this year, believe it or not. So we are really excited to kick off this week and what we've got in store. So let's talk a little bit about week 10, though. Last week, we kicked off the concept of business planning. We wanted to focus on that for 2 weeks. But in week 1, what we really honed in on were some of the most crucial things you needed to think about before you went into looking at your transactions and how to gear up for 2021.
And we did take a look back. Here's the deal. We didn't have a survey go out this week. We've got something special coming this week. So we didn't have a survey go out over the weekend, but what we did get was a ton of feedback following last week. And so the feedback, when we asked on Tuesday with coffee, when we asked on Thursday from the Ninja Accelerator, on Friday morning with a message about KISS, we asked for all of your success stories and sending them to coffee@properties.com. So we're going to take a look at some of the people that sent in the successes that we heard and recognize them.
That's right. So the first one is Patty Gibbons from the Downers Grove office. So last week, she really focused on the major 8, and it inspired her to get through each of the areas and address them. She took the first step in 5 years that she needed to in order to focus on her family and keep a promise that she had made to them. So really great stories that we're getting from everyone. But congratulations, Patty. That's a job well done.
Yes, congrats, Patty. And remember, please send yours to coffee@properties.com. Then we have Allison McGowan from the Oak Park office. And bottom line, she told us a story about how one text in January and then fostering relationships through the pandemic led to 4 transactions. So unbelievable. Think about the power of one text. Sometimes we say, we don't know what's it going to do. No big deal. How easy is it to send a birthday text? And look at what happened. She followed up, fostered the relationship, and 4 transactions for Allison. So thank you for sharing. What a great story.
And then Brittany Middlebrooks from the Goose Island office. So I believe she was on our Ninja session last week. And during the session, she reached out to a client that she had assisted in selling a home to last fall. She said that she wasn't really diligent in following up and she was a little bit uncomfortable about reaching out, but she decided to do it because we were reiterating that just showing you care isn't annoying and that you should always just reach out if you think about somebody. So her quick note to check in resulted in her referring her cousin that is looking to purchase a condo in Brittany's neighborhood. And she's also looking to purchase an investment property and asked Brittany if she would help her with that as well. So 2 potential deals coming out of this one phone call or this one outreach simply from what we talked about last week on Ninja. So really nice job, Brittany.
Yes, and another story coming out of the Ninja Accelerator last week was Cindy Schmalz out of the St. Charles and possibly Naperville office now. Cindy was there for the Ninja Accelerator. And she started texting a client during the end of the accelerator when we encouraged everyone to just reach out. And so she did so. And it turns out these people that she hasn't talked with in over 2 years are beginning to look in 2021 for a new property. And she used something as simple as checking in about mortgage rates and refinancing. And they said, yes, we've already done it, but we're looking to actually start looking for a new place at the beginning of 2021. So congrats, Cindy. Again, one small text, one reach out, one authentic, valuable contact can lead to so much more.
And then Kieran Quain, she actually sent Kevin and I something late last night to the coaching email. Kieran's out of the Libertyville office, and I couldn't even put onto this slide all of the feedback or the information she gave us in her email, but it was amazing. Basically, what she told us is that she really killed it this last week from the standpoint of this program. She said, something went off, a light bulb in her head that really made her kind of switch gears and get back to a really high level of enthusiasm, optimism, and energy. She said something that she really hasn't had since mid-March. But what I loved, and obviously isn't in this slide, is Kieran went on to detail out each of the 8 areas that we covered last week of the major 8 and put in there what she had done to move forward in each of those sections. And, one of them was the fact that she reconnected with a really good friend that before the pandemic, they kind of had drifted apart, and she reached out, I think it was this past weekend or last week, and they ended up getting together, socially distanced and safely. But she said that reconnection was so amazing for her. So, as she looked at each of those areas, this one was relationship, already she's seeing how things are changing. So really nice job, Kieran. And thanks so much for sharing all of that with us.
Yeah. And Amy, what does everybody get this week?
Oh, so this week again, you get a Visa gift card, but you all remember what we require, which is and it's a $50 Visa gift card, just to be clear. And you are required to spend it on yourself. And if you can, try and shop locally when you do it. So congratulations, you guys. We will get those out to you this week.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. And everybody else, thank you for sharing if you have already. Otherwise, share your successes. They're so important. We're going to be using them as we go into 2021 and through 2021 as well, so that we can all keep going. So let's talk about what we talked about last week, which is the major 8. And the whole point of the major 8 was that we have to know where we're coming from to understand where we are and where we're going. And so looking at the major 8 were the 8 significant areas of life that we try to put in balance, that we try to ensure that we're focused on in bringing into balance. If we're sacrificing one of them for another, what can we do? So hopefully you took some time last week to evaluate these. Kieran did. It was clear she put a ton of time and effort into it, and she's getting something out of it. So hopefully you did too.
And if you didn't get a chance to do it, it's not too late. Just pull the worksheet from last week and take some time. We had you break it down, looking at 5 years past, where you are present day, and where you want to be in each of these areas 5 years from now. And remember, it's family, taking a look at where things are at with family right now. Physical, where are you from a physical standpoint? Exercising, taking care of yourself. Spiritual, where are you in connection to the universe? How are you feeling about things overall? Career, that's a big one. We're looking at that every day, every week, but how are you feeling about career? Attitude is everything, right, Kevin? Sometimes we wake up grumpy, but we change our mindset and we have a great attitude. Not saying you were grumpy this morning. He's quite cheerful. Financial. We talked about this in week 2 of It's All About Love. But, really getting comfortable with where you are from a financial standpoint and where you want to go. And then relationships. Kieran was a great example of how she took the bull by the horns and went after wanting to make sure she's got quality relationships. And then the last is knowledge. Sometimes we get so busy in work that we just do, but part of what, helps us grow is learning new things. That's professionally, but also personally. So taking a look at these 8 areas and seeing where you are right now, but more importantly, where do you want to go over the next couple of years?
That's right. And admittedly, to Amy's note this morning, I don't know, it was like 5:30, 5:45, something like that. I still had to get my day right and my attitude set. And I was feeling a little bit of anxiety, and I opened up my email before I should have and responded to Amy with a 1-word email. So
it was a good one. It wasn't a swear word. It was all good.
That's right.
I come in singing every morning to put him in a good mood. So anyway, more than people need to know. Next slide.
Here we go. So week 11, we're going to be talking about the business plan. This is the roadmap. I mean, every year we talk about business planning. It's a buzzword. It's something that comes out. But really, it's important to do this, even if, here's the jam. The goal with your business plan is that you work off of it all year, that it is something that you work off of, you modify, it helps guide where you're going. But even if you plan it out now and you never touch it again, it's still an advantage in understanding where you're going to be going. So hopefully it's the former, but here's the jam with business planning. We talk about it a lot. It is important. It's an exercise to ensure that you are teeing yourself up for a great next year. So we wanted to talk today about your business plan foundations.
And we're going to buzz through these 6 foundations that we want you to start thinking about. And these are included in the business planning workbook that we are sending out to you this morning. But they present in this week, they have, these are the fundamentals. These are the fundamentals when it comes to having a focused, well thought out plan to move into action in 2021. So we wanted to break these 6 down.
So number 1 is commitment. And this is a big one because if you don't have, and you know what, we're going to say that everyone is a big one. They're all super important. But the first one, commitment. If you don't have commitment, if you're not committed to your own goals and where you want to go, and you're not committed to the plan that you write, you're not going to go anywhere. It's going to go for 1 day, 2 days, maybe by luck. But otherwise, if you're not committed to where you actually want to go, you're not going to end up there clearly. So part of this is that telling yourself how committed you are, meaning writing a message saying, I will, I am going to, I will be, I will have. Similar to if you took Ninja, you remember the affirmations. And there's something, you know, if Rolex is your goal this year, if your goal is $250,000 in GCI, you want your Rolex, this is where your commitment is, I will have my Rolex by the end of 2021. I will have sold $10 million in volume by the end of 2021. These are the things you are committed to that are important to you that you will work towards.
The second is, we talk about this a lot, accountability. But what we really want you to think about this week is what additional accountability do you need to ensure your success? You know, you want to write down specific action items and things you're going to do to hold yourself accountable. For example, one might be that I'm going to set up a standing meeting with my managing broker once a month to check in on the goals I've set for myself and how I'm doing in reaching them. So, you know, if you actually write that down, then the next actionable step is to pick up the phone or shoot an email to your managing broker and get in their calendar so that they can help you stay accountable.
And then number 3, motivation. Super important. You have to be motivated. And we talk about different ways to motivate, but think about this is your why. When we talk about the motivation, this is your why. What keeps you going? When you get knocked down, what helps you get back up? And so we have an example here, but before that, let's talk about really, this has to be something that actually motivates you to the point in the slide here. It has to be something that actually motivates you and is authentic. And the reason we point this out is sometimes we'll say things like, I can't wait to see my clients' smiles on their faces when they close. Okay, is that really what motivates you? And maybe it is, but or does that just sound good? And it's something, it's like a feel good. I love their smiles and high fives. Great. But really, sometimes we shy away from what actually motivates us. And sometimes we're fearful of using money as a motivator, but it can be. Because money allows us to do other things, meaning money allows us to care for our family. Money allows us to take care of others. It allows us to donate. It allows us to support. Do you see? So money is not inherently bad. So if your goal is to have enough money to do X, that's not a greedy, that's not a negative. That is a positive because the money is motivating you to be able to use it in a positive way. So back to motivation, the key is that it's something that actually motivates you. It's not just a feel good, a sound bite, something you like to write on paper with a smiley face. It really is what motivates you every day.
And then we want to talk about your future vision. So this is a vision statement. It's clear. It's a detailed description of your business in the future. So this is where you want your business to be in 3 to 5 years from now. And it clarifies and helps you identify your long-term goals. It should be specific. It should be measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound. So I want to give you an example of this. One thing you could put down or somebody could put down as a future vision is by 2024, I'd like to have doubled my business from 10 million to 20 million. So you can see that right there, that's very specific. Numbers are actually written down. I'd also like to have a team structure in place. Again, gets more specific by saying specifically an assistant, a buyer's broker who can handle all of my buy-side transactions. And then I'd also like to hire a transaction coordinator who can assist me with all of my listing inventory. So make sure that when you're thinking about in the future, a lot of times we put really vague goals out there. I want to double my business. I'd love to grow a team. You want to make sure that when you're writing this down, be specific so that way, as you are going towards this future goal, you can take measurement and be able to look at, am I actually heading in the direction that I need to meet that success in my 3 to 5 year plan?
And then number 5, your current mission. So this is the mission statement. This really, I maybe misspoke a moment ago when it came to motivation. I said that's your why. Not necessarily. This is more of your why. This is your mission. What is the purpose or intent of your business and what you do every day? What is in this case, what is your mission? How would you explain what your company, what you do? And so a good example of this is, your mission is to be knowledgeable, be connected, and be passionate. Those are 3 things that you could say that your mission is. Your mission is to, help your clients find whatever it is. Your mission statement is important because it's what guides your company. It's what guides you in terms of what your business, what direction it's going. And if you don't have a mission, if you're just doing it because, let's go back to money. If you're just doing it because of money and you don't have an overall mission for why your company exists, then we need to take a look at that. We need to take a look and figure out why, because at a certain point, if you don't have a why for what you're doing, it's going to fall apart. You're not going to find the motivation, regardless of what the goal is in terms of money, in terms of what, reaching the Rolex. If you don't have a mission, you're lacking the underlying base of why you're doing what you do.
Yeah, and your mission is important because it helps your clients or your potential clients understand what it is that you are offering out to them. But then to tie in further to your clients, we want you to think about your client value statement. While your mission articulates kind of what you do and what your offering is, the client value statement focuses on when your clients are listening to you or thinking about working with you, they are always thinking, what's in it for me? So the value statements, as you put them together, should always answer that question for a potential client. Because as they're thinking about hiring you, they're thinking about how is this going to impact me and my goals and where I want to go. So make sure that you embrace that or think about that as you articulate your client value statement. So a couple of examples of this would be, a value statement would be integrity. I conduct myself with the highest ethical standards, demonstrating honesty and fairness in every decision and action. So if I'm a client and I'm thinking, I want to make sure that I work with somebody who has a lot of integrity, that checks their box. Respect and trust. I treat my clients with dignity and respect at all times. Again, this comes back to your client. And then this one I like, this is a different kind of scenario or example, is fun. I believe in having fun at work and with my clients during the home buying process. As a client, we probably want somebody who's going to be fun and engaging. So just think about what your value statements are, and when your clients are listening to them or see them, how they impact the importance and significance back to them.
Yes. And so we actually need to plan for our plan, right? We need to prepare to business plan, because let's be realistic with ourselves. If we don't have everything we need in front of us when we sit down to business plan, we are going to be nailed with a bunch of distractions, and we're not going to be able to sit down for enough time to gather everything, then put our plan together, review it, and then really sign off on it mentally and emotionally. So what we want to do is split this up. Get the information you need to business plan first, and then we can actually sit down, take that information, and plug it in to the business plan.
Yes, we have a really great workbook for you all to look at and work on for your business this week. I'm really excited, and I had a couple of really great Excel experts take a look at it to make sure that it is a phenomenal thing for you to work on. Thank you, Don Shea. Thank you, Jorge Abreu, and thank you, Tom Downing, and Kevin Van Eck. So they all made sure that this was going to be a really great document for you to work on. But Kevin's right. Before you sit down and start working on your business plan, we want to make sure that you've got some of the data or the information you need to be able to fill this out accurately for what you did this past year in 2020, and then be able to start setting your goals as they pertain to 2020 into 2021. So the first thing that you're going to need to pull are your list of transactions. So we want you to take the time to review and pull together the following: your total list side transactions in 2020, your total buy side transactions in 2020, and then your total gross commission income. Okay, this is going to be and then what we also want you to look at is a breakdown of where your business came from. So did you get business from your sphere of influence? If so, how many deals were from your SOI? Did you get referrals from other agents? If so, how many were those? How many came from geographic farming? You know, starting to get an idea of where your business is coming from. So those are the 4 things we want you to take a look at before you dive into the workbook.
That's right. And so we're going to take a look really quickly where you can get that, because we want to make it as easy as possible and show you. So we're in Ann Proper's platform right now. I don't know how much business Ann did last year, but we're going to find out. So the key here, you're going to go into platform, and Rita just put it into the chat. The way to find your GCI is to go to your financial reports here. So I clicked in the upper right-hand corner, you go to financial reports, and in there, you're going to find a GCI and a transaction and a commission report. So that's where you can find that list. The other way, if you want to export a list of all of your clients from 2020, what's great about the DMS and the CRM is that the DMS updates the CRM with all of your past buyers, sellers, and renters. So in here, it's really easy. Go to export, and we're going to filter down here. Remember, the DMS automatically marks them as past buyers, seller, and renters. So all you have to do is add your past buyer, seller, renter, and then choose the information you want to export. My suggestion down here is closing anniversary for sure, because that will tell you the closing date of those past buyers, sellers, and renters. And then you can also put in referred by. If you've been adding that to the CRM when you add your clients, super powerful. Now you have a bird's eye view of everyone that has referred you throughout the last year. And then you can click export down at the bottom here, download, and you're going to have a spreadsheet of all of your past clients with the columns you added: closing anniversary, referred by, and of course you can add any other criteria, any other columns that you want to see information in. But that is the easiest way to get the data that you need so that we can business plan effectively. Let's go back to this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, so those are your list of transactions. The other thing that you need to be focused on or thinking about before you sit down with this workbook is your prospecting activity. Thinking about your prospecting needs as you head into the new year. So what you want to start thinking about based off of your year in 2020, maybe you did 8 million and you did a total of 12 deals in order to get 8 million. Maybe next year's goal is going to be 12 million, or maybe it's 10 million. You're going to get that Rolex, right? So maybe it's 10 million. Well, based off of what you did this year, you know the number of transactions that got you to success and your wrap-up numbers this year. If you're pushing further, then you probably need to recognize that you're going to have to increase the amount of transactions that you close in 2021. So being able to identify what those numbers look like and breaking it up into how many listings will I need in order to meet my goal for 2021? And then how many buyers will I need to work with to get to my goal? Some of you might be 50-50, meaning some of you might work 50% of your business on listings and sellers, and then the other 50% on your buyers. So if you have to do 12 deals, let's say next year, then you might balance out recognizing I need to get 6 listings and I need to have 6 buyers in the hopper, right? Others of you might have a different ratio. You might be 70% listings, 30% buyers. If so, then it's going to obviously be a larger number of listings you're going to need to secure for 2021. So think about that information ahead of time. Start thinking about what your goal is as you project out into 2021. That'll be really helpful as you start going into this worksheet or workbook and starting to identify what your plan looks like for next year.
And that's tomorrow. So tomorrow on Coffee with Amy and Kevin, the link's going to be out by 9:30 a.m. Hopefully it'll be out far earlier so you can get started first thing tomorrow morning if you have the time and if you have it blocked out. And that's the key right now is if you don't have time blocked out this week to take care of this and go through it, please make sure you do. Set aside at least 1 hour to go through. So pull the information that we talked about and then set aside 1 hour sometime this week to really focus. Turn off your phone, turn off all the other devices around you. So tomorrow we're going to be going through the very specifics of the workbook that Amy was talking about so that we can get our 2021 business plan together. And we're going to go through each section in detail to make it easy. so that you can do it along with us as we're talking through it.
Yes, and so your resource for success this week is quite simple. It is your 2021 business plan. We will be sending out or posting on the app this morning a link to what that business plan looks like. It is an Excel document. It's got multiple tabs that break down the different areas of your business. And to Kevin's point, we'll be going through each of those in detail tomorrow, but please try and take a look at it ahead of time, just so that you have somewhat a sense of a familiarity of the document prior to jumping onto coffee with us tomorrow. Right. Well, thank you guys for joining us this morning. Make it a great week. We're excited to see you tomorrow as you pull out your business planning workbooks and get ready to kick off and get ready for a phenomenal 2021.
That's right. And so today, remember,
make it a great day, and remember to love yourself.
Love others.
I totally blew that this time. And love what you do.
All right. You know what? By the end of week 12, yes, by the end of week 12, we might have it ready. We might be good. We might be good to start 2021 with that. All right.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.